So today I would like to show you my massive hoard of just floating heads. Just heads without bodies that... See, I do this thing a lot where I buy a lot of dolls that are on sale, as I would like to call it. Just like good deals that I find either on DOA or Facebook or wherever. So I buy a lot of just random things that I probably don't need, but when I see a head come up for sale that I know is like a $400 head and somebody's just quick selling him for like $150, I just can't help myself and I buy it. So I have quite a few. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heads that I'm going to show you today. So yeah, let's just get started. So, actually, not all of these are floating heads, because some of them, and by some of them I mean one of them has a head, has a body, and that's this guy. So this guy is actually my first doll ever. He is a doll family A Zilau. He has a body right now, actually. It's in the drawer. But the reason that he's not on it is because when I first got him, he came on like this really super buff body. It was like ripped, and I did not like it. And later in my life, they released a like a slimmer version of the doll family body, and I bought it, and since then they had changed their normal skin color. So it doesn't match his head at all whatsoever. Like, this head is really, really yellowy, and his body is super pink. It's just not even close. It's so sad. So one day I hope that I can send him off. He had a face-up too. He had everything. He had a face-up, he had a wig, everything. His face-up chipped, so I had to take it off because literally his entire eyebrow just chipped off, and I was so sad. So I took his face-up off. His body's in there. Hopefully one day I can send him off for a face-up, and that's all he really needs. Like, he has a lot of things. Maybe he needs a different outfit, but until then, I can send him off for a face-up and like a body blush matching kind of thing. So, anyway. Oh, and his name is Knox, by the way. He's my first ever doll. I love him a lot. My first head that I hoarded is this Resin Soul... What's his name? Oh my god, I feel so dumb right now. What is the sculpt name? Long. He's a Resin Soul Long. And he's been modded, so his ears have been shaped a little bit, and I think his face has too. He was modded by Buff Dolls, and she gave him this really cute face up. And I usually don't like this sculpt, but there's something about this mod that, look, it's like it's me. It's creepy. There's something about this mod that I just really liked, and I had to get him. She was selling him for like $30, so I was like, why not? I've never gotten him a body because, although the Resin Soul body is quite cheap, there's been other things like in the way that I would rather buy than just a Resin Soul body that I don't particularly love that much. And he's not important enough to hybrid on a more expensive body, so maybe one day I will fork out the $150 or whatever the hell. I ran out of room, so this is going to be a little bit of an awkward cut, but onwards. The next floating head that I have is actually a head that I also got in my 5-star doll order, because not only did you get a free tiny, but you got a free head. So I got this one. This is again a head that was supposed to be for my sister. And I really don't remember this one's sculpt name, because this one was just... He's always just been here. It's a doll that I'm not crazy about. I don't want to sell him because, number one, I always want to turn dolls into something. I always like to turn them into some kind of character eventually. Number two, I know that these like tiny heads, especially tiny heads from obscure companies like 5-star Doll, they just don't sell really well. So I could sell them for most like $20, which either in or out of my pocket is really the same to me. It's all the same. So he's here. I have an idea to turn him into like a little wolf boy, because that's kind of what my sister and me were brainstorming at the time. So maybe one day I'll do that, but only if I can find him like a really insanely, stupidly cheap body. That's the only way that I'm ever going to work on this guy. So, next I will show you my Heliot, who is not just a floating head. No, he is a floating head and a pair of arms. I mean, hands. So, this is him. He's so pretty. I love him. He was so cheap. He was like, there was a girl selling an entire full set Heliot on the marketplace, and she was asking for the head, I think only like $200, and I was like, that is insane. So I just only bought the head from her, and I love him, and I really want to make him my unicorn forest man guardian thing one of these days. And I'll also show you his hands, which I also got. I got them at a different time. They were really cheap too, so I decided to get them. And now all I need is a body and the hooves, so hopefully I can find those. I'm hoping to find, like for my more fantasy dolls, I'm hoping that next year I can start to buy them a couple things, because there's some floating heads in here that I don't care about working on, and there's some floating heads that I really want to get things for. So the Heliot is one of those where I really would like to finish him sometime next year. And then he has a little son, and this is his name, Shale, and he's so cute, he's so sweet. Oh, I love everything about this face. He's so just adorable. So he has his horn, and he also came with, do I have them here? I don't know where they are. He came with his wings anyway. I don't know where I put them. So he's really cute. I hope that I can get him a body too. I've seen one for sale really cheap before, but there's other things that are just holding me back. There's other things that I want that are holding me back from completing all these cute little things. But that's okay, because I started this channel because I wanted it to be like a journey. I want you to see where I am now, and I want you to see the things that I want to do and the plans that I have, and hopefully I will complete some things in the time that I'm doing all this. So my next head is this guy here. He is a Peakswoods Keith? Yes. So he's really cute. He came out last year. I bought the head, and I really wanted to buy the body too, but I couldn't afford that body at the time. It was like, it's very expensive. So hopefully after my convention, which is at the end of this month, I would like to put the body on the Forever Peakswoods layaway that they have, where they have like an infinitesimal amount of time that you can do layaway with. I would love to do that for him, because that body is gorgeous. I mostly just bought this head because all their heads are limited, but the bodies you can buy anytime. And so I wanted a head specifically because I really love that body. You'll notice this about me, where I just really love bodies more than I love head sculpts. I really love skinny boy bodies. Just boys in general. I love boys. Okay. So the next one is this one, which is my most recent impulse purchase. He was, again, really cheap. He's a Fairyland event sculpt. He is the Jury 13, I think. So he was a right mess. He was just so awful. So he had like little bits of face up everywhere. The inside of him, you can kind of see a little bit left, like see the dark. It was disgusting. It was so gross. I got him really cheap. I cleaned him up. There's still a little bit of staining left. And I want to get him like a fantasy doll body, because I really love those bodies and they're really cheap. They look like Delph bodies. I've always wanted one, so he's gonna get that one hopefully soon, because that's cheap. I can buy that anytime. So there he is. He doesn't have a name. Most of them don't have names. Only Nox has a name, and that's it. That's the only one, actually. And the last one, this guy, I love him. And it's depressing that I love him because he is part of my main story. And he's the only one that's part of my main story. Because I don't know, just all the dolls that I want for that story are dolls that are either like limited or they're really expensive or just, I don't know, I really would love to, at least by the end of this year, get a couple of dolls for that story. But this is the only one that I have for my main story, which maybe one day I'll tell you guys about. But this is a Simply Divine Harlequin head who was made to look like this model called Andre Page. So this is him. He's not even an important character in my story. He's like the brother of the main character who doesn't really have much to do. He has this really pretty face up. I love his face up. I got it done maybe like a week after I received this head, and then he lived in a box for like 2 years. I never did anything with him. I want to buy him a Dolls Town senior adult, I don't know what they call their doll bodies, but I want to buy him like the big one, like the 70 centimeter Dolls Town body, which is expensive, so that's why he doesn't have it yet. He doesn't have a name. I know what he looks like, and I know his personality, and I know the role kind of that he has in my main story, but he doesn't have a name yet, because I am very bad at naming dolls. I am just so indecisive with names. I can never think of a name that I'm satisfied with, so I put it off, and then some of them just never get names. If you have a suggestion for him, for a name, like a rough and tough kind of man name, that would be cool. You can tell me, because I'd appreciate it. So, that's him. That's everyone that I have. I think, yes, that's everyone. I want to show you guys my MSDs and my SDs eventually, but they are tragically in shambles right now. So I'm waiting on a clothing order from 9 Style, and hopefully after I get that in and they're a little bit more put together, I can show you guys those ones, including my MSDs that are part of my second story, which is like, I have 2 stories that are important to me, and this guy is part of like the SD story, and then I have 3 actually MSDs that are part of the other story. So I would really love to show you guys those ones, because those ones are like my most, just in terms of characters, my most important dolls. But I'm waiting for them to be a little bit more presentable, because they look like poop right now, and I don't want to show you until they look nice. And then I'll show you my SDs, including the 2 newest ones, which are really the only ones that are put together now that I think about it. So only the new 2 ones, the 2 new ones. Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you liked my hoarding tendencies of heads. Yeah. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.